Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Sam. I'm a romance author based in the UK, and today we're going to kick off another writing vlog. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not really in the mood for this today, and I'm finding it really difficult to get excited about sitting down to do anything. All I want to do right now is kind of veg out in front of the TV, and I think that's because I'm overwhelmed by all the things I should be doing other than vegging out in front of the TV. But it's really important to me to make time every single day for my writing, and so that's what I'm doing whether I feel like it or not. And it is the weekend, it is a Saturday, so I do have the whole weekend ahead of me. However, not only are we going on holiday in a couple of days, but I'm going immediately from our holiday onto a work trip, so I'm going to be gone for like 2 weeks. Also means being away from my golden retriever Kirby, which I know doesn't sound like a big deal, but I've never been away from him more than a night or two at a time. He's less than a year old, and I'm really sad about having to be away from him. And my house is just in an absolute state. We've had some building work done recently. I've redone my office, which if you haven't watched that video yet, I'll leave a link to it in the description. And I just have a million things to do. I've got lots of work to do, some video editing. I'm behind on actual work, things that I need to get done before I go away, and I do not have the energy to do any of it. All I want to do is sit in front of the TV or sit down with a book. I also just DNF'd a book, which always annoys me, and it's got me in such a funk. It felt like such a waste of time, but I feel like as a writer that book can make you feel one of two ways. Either it can make you feel super confident, like, well, I know I'm better than that, so I'm gonna get to it, or it can make you feel really self-conscious, like, she probably thought that she did a really good job with this book. Are my books this bad? Don't tell me in the comments if my books are that bad. I don't want to know. I just don't want to know. And I really hate talking about that as a fellow writer because, like, she did a really hard thing of, like, writing a book and creating buzz about it, and it's a bestseller, not for the best reasons, got a lot of controversy around it, and I hate talking about that. It makes me feel really unmotivated to write because I don't want to ever be the person that, like, thinks they're doing a good job, but actually everybody is thinking the same thing, which is that this person should not be published. Anyway, it's just kind of getting in my head a little bit, and on top of all of this other stuff that I've got going on, writing is kind of the last thing that I want to do at the moment. However, writing every day is something that I've been working really, really hard at, and today is no different. We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna sit down and we're gonna do it. And I can do it. I don't want to do it, but I can do it. So that's what we're gonna do. Now, I just reviewed where I left off yesterday. If you haven't been watching my Project Gilbert vlogs so far, I finished my first draft, which is very exciting. And now I'm on my rewrite. And that's because I have changed point of view. So I wrote about 3/4 of the story in third person past tense, and it just wasn't working. I was really struggling to move forward. And then I switched to first person present tense, and it worked a lot better from that point. But now I have to go back and rewrite the first 2/3, 3/4 of the book that were written in the wrong point of view and tense. And I've really just started that. But I'm at the very, very beginning, so I don't mind sort of showing you what I'm working on just so that you can see the way that I've arranged it. So what I've done here is I've got Scrivener open. I use Scrivener. For those of you who haven't used it before or heard of it, it is a drafting software that is geared towards authors. I am an affiliate for them, so I'll leave a link to that in the description. Just a bit of disclosure that I am an affiliate, so if you do purchase Scrivener, I will get a small kickback from that. But the way that I've done it is I took my first draft and I literally just duplicated it. And what I'm doing now is I'm just going through paragraph by paragraph, and I will rewrite the paragraph and then delete the old one. So you can see I've done that up here. You've got lots of I in there, that's first person. But if we scroll down to the point where I've left off, which is here, you can see that this is where it goes into the third person past tense. And she's just getting ready for work in this scene. And some of it I'm deleting, so I know that I'm going to delete this paragraph. This one as well. Okay, I'm gonna delete this one as well. I don't mind deleting a lot of the stuff that I've written because I'm really over on word count and I know I'm gonna need to add some things in later on in the story. I really extended these earlier chapters much longer than they needed to be because I was really just getting into it and trying to get into the story and get into the characters. So I really don't mind getting rid of some of that. So we're gonna get rid of this. And now I know that I need to move from here where she was getting ready for work to here where she's actually walking down the street, and I need to acknowledge some of the things that I've set up earlier in that chapter. Okay, so obviously I've just replaced everything I deleted with even more. Oh well. We will cross that word count bridge when we come to it. But now that I've closed the gap, the next job is to start rewriting from here because I do want to keep a couple of these paragraphs. So I'm going to start rewriting from here in the correct point of view and tense. Okay, so what I've just written has replaced these paragraphs. So I just highlight those and I delete them, and I will do that on and on and on again until I have overwritten everything in this scene. Yeah, so it's a long process because I've got to read what I wrote before, and then I've got to think about what I want to do slightly differently, maybe do that as I'm writing. Then I've got to make sure that I achieved what I needed to achieve from the paragraph as it was originally written, and then I go through and delete it. So it takes a lot longer than writing the first draft does. However, I am obviously working from something already, and as you can see, that only took me a few minutes, and I did just get 656 words done whilst you were sat here watching me. So, you know, not a bad effort for just a few minutes. So yeah, that's how I am doing my second draft. So as you can see, it's not a particularly complicated drafting process, but it is time consuming, and it means that my word count numbers are much lower than when I was drafting. And I measure that word count based on what the word count of the section I've edited or rewritten is after rather than before. So if I replace 1,000 words with 700, I'm not taking the 1,000, I'm taking the 700. But likewise, if I replace 1,000 words with 2,000, I'm taking the 2,000 because that is what I've actually written on that day. Now, the only reason that I'm keeping track of word count is for the challenge that I'm doing with my writing group, where we have to write every single day for the month of September. Normally, I like to keep track of my word count anyway, especially when I'm drafting, because it just helps me with pacing and understanding where I should be roughly within the draft. For a romance novel, which Project Gilbert is, it really shouldn't be more than 100,000 words. And currently I'm sat at just under 93,000. So I am in a good spot in terms of the length. It's maybe a little bit on the long side, but certainly within a comfortable place, especially as I will end up trimming more things as I go through. I will also add in more things though, and if that editing session is anything to go by, maybe I'll end up having to worry about word count later on. But that way I know, you know, if I'm 75,000 words through the story, that is 5/6 of the way through the story. So I know that I really need to be getting to that big climactic moment. I really need to be building towards that. And if I'm not, it's gonna feel like it's come out of nowhere. So it is really useful for me being able to pace things well. There are some structures that can help with that. One that I have used but doesn't quite fit with this type of romance novel that I'm writing is Romancing the Beat. And that will give you an indication of how long your different sections should be, which makes it so that you don't have to think so much about pacing and more just how much attention are you giving to the different beats within the story. Now for Project Gilbert, because I was discovery writing it, I didn't really pay attention to structure like Romancing the Beat. This draft is around the time that I would start to layer some structure like that in there. However, like I said, Romancing the Beat doesn't really work for the story that I'm writing, so I am actively looking at other structures that I can start to impose in order to make sure that it is moving at a pace that's appropriate for the genre. Obviously, not anything is going to fit the best practice exactly. That's not what it's there for. It's just a guideline, but it is useful for me in terms of pacing because I know that that can be my weak point, and I want to make sure that, especially given that this is a holiday romance and there's lots of different destinations and stuff, that it's not too segmented by the physical travel that's happening. I am now going to get my head down. I'm gonna put on my brown noise. If you don't know what brown noise is, it's gonna freaking change your life. I'll put a link in the description, and I'm going to try to get through the entire first chapter today, which I'm about 60% of the way through, so that should be really reasonable for today. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to be writing while I'm on holiday. It's probably going to depend on if I've got enough room in my carry-on for my laptop. What do you think? I'm really curious to know what you think. Given that I've got myself in the habit of writing or editing every single day, do you think that I should continue to do that whilst I'm on holiday? Let me know in the comments what you think. Anyway, let's get to it, shall we? So as you can see here from my project target, this session target takes the net new words from the session, which means that it takes all words that I've added and subtracts any words that I've taken away. So I can actually see really clearly in each session how many words I've added compared to what I had before. Now this isn't for the scene, this is for my instance of sitting down and writing. So from what I've done today, I've actually added 564 words, which is not ideal, but again, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So that's it. That is my first, what I'm calling a chapter, done in terms of my rewrite. I feel really good about the progress I made today. I'm going to check back in tomorrow to see what I'm able to achieve then. But I feel really good about the fact that despite everything that I've got going on, I maintained my habit. I made myself sit down and get some writing done. So this is my commitment to you. I will see you back here tomorrow, and you don't have to wait 24 hours for that because I'm gonna show up on screen in just a minute. But for me, I'm gonna have to drag myself back here tomorrow no matter what else is going on. I know I've got a lot to do, but I'm going to come back and do some more tomorrow, maybe try to do chapter 2, because it is important to me. Good morning, it is Sunday, and I am, as promised, sitting down to do some more writing. So my goal for this morning is to get chapter 2 done. I don't think that should be very difficult. It's not very long. It's only just under 1,700 words. So assuming I don't add hundreds more like I did yesterday, then I should be able to do that within an hour or two. So wish me luck. Excellent, and I'm all done with chapter 2. My session target has stayed at 0, which means that I have not added words to this chapter, which is good. And in fact, from the word count, I can see that I've actually removed, I think, 64. So much better result than yesterday as far as that's concerned. I think the chapter's a lot better now. I'm really happy with it. I'm really enjoying this process actually of rewriting sort of on the same page as what I'd written before. I know that I've got the old text in a previous version saved on my computer, so I'm not worried about overwriting things, and it feels really good to be able to really tangibly see it improve on the page. I also really like having a really clear way to see if I'm adding words or taking words away through that session target. I think that's really useful. I've never done this before where I've had to rewrite an entire draft, so this is the first time that I'm having to find a way to do that effectively, and I think that I am. I think I'm doing that successfully at the moment. I still haven't decided if I'm going to take my laptop on holiday with me, so definitely let me know in the comments if you think that I should or not. I am gonna have room for it in my bags, but also part of me just thinks I need a little bit of time to rest and unwind. But then again, will that compromise my habit that I formed? So let me know in the comments what you think, if you think I should take it with me or if you think I should disconnect for the week. So thank you for joining me. I'm gonna go crack on with all of the other stuff I've got to do before we leave. But don't forget to give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of the Project Gilbert writing vlogs or any of the other content that I've got coming up. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.